Good afternoon, my name is Chef MichaelRey. Today I'm going to be taking you through the steps of making a smoothie with basically fruit. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to begin by cutting some fruit. So let me adjust my camera and get you ready for the cutting of the fruit. And what I've got today is I've got a cantaloupe, I've got an orange, I've got lemon, an apple, some kiwi, and some blueberries. So anytime that you cut your fruit, what you want to do is you just want to start, big fruit, you want to start with cutting the ends off. So you cut the ends off, you're going to turn it sideways, and you're just going to go around the whole fruit. So, and this is also what you're going to do for your other fruits, such as your pineapples, and you flip it back around, and then you just grab the ends, cut the ends off. So therefore what you're doing is you're just cutting the ends, flipping it so it stands up, and you're taking off the thing. Okay, and there we go with my honeydew. And the same thing with a pineapple. You want to cut the ends off first, switch it around. And when you grab your knife, it's best to put, what I do is I always have a finger because you have control. The thing is this, is that make sure when you push down where your fingers are. A lot of people, a lot of chefs do what they call the bear claw, where they grab the fruit like this. And they do make cutting knives. The cutting knives are what you're going to wear on your opposite hand. So if you're holding it in your right, you're going to wear your cut glove on your left. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting the pineapple, and then I'm going to bring it back around and take off all the little like burrs or nubs. When I do the pineapple, I do take out the center part. So what I do is I'm going to cut it straight down, turn it, bring it around, cut it around, and then I've got this piece that looks like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that center part off, because the center part is the core, which is hard. So then I have a piece like this. So then what I'm going to do is just basically dice it like that. So I've got dices, and that makes for a pretty arrangement. So let me grab a bowl so I can start to put some of my fruit in. Okay, and I'm not going to sit here and cut all the fruit because I don't want to spend an hour cutting the fruit. So that's how you're going to cut your fruit, and that's like little small, maybe like diamond-sized pieces. I usually cut them an inch thick, and try to keep your fruit all cut the same size. This way it looks really nice, and you don't have to really be in a hurry when you cut fruit. What I usually do anytime I'm cooking, I put some music on, I grab me a nice cold drink, like maybe some iced tea or some water with lemon and some music, and I enjoy it. You know, the thing about cooking is that there's really no mistakes. As long as you don't over salt something or burn it, keep your flame always at medium or low. Start off with it high and then bring it down. Then you've got a better chance of not destroying your food. And as long as you don't over salt it, then you'll be fine. And like I said, the thing with cooking, you have to make it fun, and it's got to be. I enjoy what I'm doing. Okay, so there you go. You've got your pineapple. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do with the apple, since you have the core in the middle. What I usually do is I usually cut kind of the same thing, and then what I'll do is I'll cut the core out. So I have a piece like this, and then basically cut them the same size. So this way, when you are making your smoothie or your juicy, everything is more or less the same size. It's all going to be in the blender. So these are just some ways of cutting your fruit. Everybody cuts their fruit different. It's up to you how you want to cut it. I always try to keep my food, the same size. Even when you're cooking potatoes, or you're making stuff that you're boiling, you always want to cut it the same size. Therefore, it all cooks at the same time. And when you do potatoes, it's better to start off with cold water, put your potatoes in and bring it up. Anytime you're cooking pasta or rices, of course, you do want to get the water boiling first. So there we go with our apple. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the orange. And this looks like a grapefruit. So all you're doing is you're cutting the tips off and you're just turning your fruit so that you're getting all the pieces off. And this orange looks awfully red. It may be a blood orange. I'm not sure, but whatever it is, that'll be fine. So then you flip it back around and you just cut the ends and take the ends off. You know, and try not to waste too much of your food. I don't, I eat all organic, so when you eat an organic or any kind of fruit, you don't want to waste your food. And with this, I'm just going to do the slices so that you have a perfectly cut round slice like that. And I'm putting everything in the same thing because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a smoothie. So when you cut your cantaloupe or your honeydew, of course, you have the inside out. What you can do is you can grab a spoon, and all you do is you just pull that out. You just scrape it out and you stick it there, which you should have a trash can near. And a lot of this stuff, what it is when people compost, what they do is they put their stuff in their garden or they put it on their yard and they make a little pile, and what it does, it goes back into the dirt and it helps your soil to give you good. So then with the cantaloupe, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, one in the middle, one on the side, turn it, and then I'm just going to do slices. So therefore, I'm going to end up with kind of the same size cut on the honeydew, which is, and you can tell the honeydew is really sweet, so it's amazing. Okay, so let me start with the juicy. What you're going to do is I have my cantaloupe, a pineapple, pieces of apple, a couple slices of orange. Let me see. Okay, so normally what I do is I usually put a lemon or a grapefruit to give me that acid, but when it comes to smoothing or juicing, I believe, or making your smoothies, it's really up to you what type of fruit you want to put in. I recommend for doing breakfast that you do maybe some spinach, some cabbage, some water ice, and maybe some agave or a date for sweetener. And what the sweetener does is that just brings everything together. And then I have my flaxseed, which I'm going to add at the end. And what I do with the flaxseed is I grind it in a coffee grinder, and then I stick it in the smoothie. So once you have your fruit in there, you always want to use water. And I always have, I never use, I don't drink tap water, so therefore I'm not going to put it in my smoothie. When you're cooking, it's okay to use regular water because you're going to boil it. So that's probably about a cup of water that I'm going to stick in here. I've got a cup of water. And then I'm going to add about a cup of ice. Okay, so I've got a cup of ice that I'm going to add to it. And then I'm going to use, for my sweetener, I use stevia, which is a natural root. Okay, here we go. I got a little bit of stevia, which is a packet here that I use. And I'm only going to use about 1/4 of it, because this is something that you just want a little bit. And all this is going to do is it's going to bring all the flavors together. So then I've got that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my blender and I slide my fruit. And usually it's better to clean as you go. I can be a little piggy-lito sometimes, but don't tell my future wife, okay? So we're going to do that, and we're just going to zap it. Okay, so then I forgot to put the flaxseed, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about a table of flaxseed after I grind it. Or you can also add chia seed, and I'm just going to bring that into there. Or you can also use chia seed, which is really great, and this is an Aztec food. And a lot of the food that we're going back to the basics, like your chia seed and your even your flaxseed. A lot of that stuff was used by the Indians. So really, we're taking our food circle is making a complete circle. Okay, so there we go. We're going to zap it. There we are. And let me get, never have a pretty glass when I need one. So we're going to use what am I going to use? I can use any really glass. Usually when I have company, of course, I want to bring out all my pretty stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out this glass here. And then we're going to pour it. And you want it kind of, you want it kind of pureed out. And let me try it. Amazing. So there you go. So basically what you did is you did fruit, you did your ice, you did your water, you did a little bit of sweetener, which would I use a stevia. You can use honey, you can use agave, you can use basically anything that's going to help bring it to the sweetness together. And all you're doing is the sweetness. What that's going to do is that's just going to bring your flavors together. And it gives it a little bit of a sweetness. If you're on a diet, what I would suggest is to do a smoothie in the morning with some raw spinach, some dates, some blueberries, maybe a little bit of a stevia or a little bit of agave, a little bit of honey, and that just brings your flavors together. So there we are with the smoothie, the juicy that I made. My name is Chef MichaelRey. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your supports. God bless you. Grace before meals. Peace. Ciao.